Welcome to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. Whether inside or outside the loop, we are talking everything soccer in Houston. Y'all ready? Let's get it. Houston, welcome to another episode of the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. My name is Rudy Segura, and we should have a pretty good episode for you guys. As I am joined by Joey Chavala. Joe, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. How are you, man?
Not too bad. I think you may be more on a better mood. You had a great week for Houston sports, and then New Mexico makes it to the next phase, man, beating RSL last week. So
beat RSL, got another win this weekend as well.
Man, you're just in a happy place, man.
Yeah,
you're playing Candyland over there.
And it's just not Arsenal.
We're
stressed on that end.
Yeah, I was like, there's still one game left, but still it's not looking all that great for you guys for sure. I don't know if you guys technically choke or not.
No, that's not choking. Come on.
No. And that's what I'm saying. I think you guys played it out as Arsenal played it out as well as they could. So
yeah, I mean they dropped points. They had one draw against Man City in the second half of the season, and the one loss to Aston Villa. That's not a choke. You dropped. Was that 4 or 5 points in an entire calendar year? And you call that a choke? That ain't no choke.
Oh no, exactly. So they're doing good. I mean, you guys are still gonna get like quite a few jokes coming your way.
It's bullshit because you lose to a team who pretty openly cheats. So yeah.
I mean, the joke that the only time that what the Arsenal fans do when Arsenal wins the trophy, they just turn off the PlayStation and go to bed. That's the only way. So, yeah.
FA Cup.
I felt the only thing for them, I really was hoping they would win it. Is 20 years now since the last time they won it, I believe, isn't it? 2004, 2003, the last time they won it. Yeah. So, I felt like the Arsenal thing. Not the Liverpool thing was going to happen because it was like 20 or 30 years for them to the mark.
It was more than that because that was the first time Liverpool ever won the Premier League.
Yeah, so I think it was 89 the last time. So yeah, I think it was close to 30 years by the time they won it because they won it in 19, I believe. So
yeah. It was 2020 they won it. It was COVID year.
Okay, there you go. So man, it sucks for teams that are so good and they just don't get a piece of the pie, man. But it's coming, man. It's getting closer, that's for sure. Especially
yeah. Compared to last year?
Oh, yeah. Compared to last year. Yeah. And like I said, I mean, yeah, you dropped some important games for sure, dude. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's that Christmas period. It was at Fulham, West Ham, and Newcastle.
That was it?
Yeah, it was that Christmas period. Well, they tied or they lost to Newcastle off that goal that should have never stood because it was there was a foul in the build-up, and it was offside. And the VAR didn't call either of those things. And they took like 10 minutes to review it, and they didn't call any of them.
Yeah, I think Rushan, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. You may have missed the Friday bonus episode. I think it was like a really good episode. So, you guys haven't heard it. I would still go back and listen to it. I think it still pertains to a lot of things happening right now with the Dynamo. Basically just spend an hour plus just talking about purely the Dynamo and the state of the club. And I think we got a lot of things right from that episode.
I agree. Yeah, I think we predicted this game pretty well as well.
Yep. And it's not going to be just me and Joey today. We are joined by a very special guest as well. Cristian Putalias, he'll be in here. We love that guy. So I don't know if can you hear us? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. All right, that's what I thought. So I'll bring you in, man. Chris Putelias, what's up, brother?
Hey, how's it going, guys? We're doing good. How are you guys?
Not too bad. You were able to wrangle your little ones into bed, my friend?
Oof, man. All 4 of them, bro. It's a hassle, but I think we divided and conquered 2 and 2, and we made it happen.
Do you just stack them up at this point? Like, you just stack them up?
Yeah. I don't even know what we do, but we get it done every day.
I can't remember what movie, or it definitely was a cartoon, but like they would put like kids in like little like a sack, like a potato sack, and just hang them up and they fall asleep like that. That's how I imagine whenever you have more than 2 kids, and it just kind of like what I picture. because I struggle with my 2, and it's pretty bad. So I left my wife to be a single mother who has 2 jobs, and we're out there working and doing her business, man. But yeah, it's pretty funny. How you been, dude? It's been a bit, I think, since we've had you. Last time you just jumped in and you said we suck, and then you left. So how you been,
Oh
brother?
yeah, it's been good. It's been good. Well, kind of news, personal news. I've been transferred at work, so I'm
Nice.
gonna be I'm gonna be closer to home. So that's a good thing.
They
My
sent
one
your ass to
hour,
Austin.
nah, right? Imagine. No, but my 1 hour commute, one way, has now become a 20-minute commute. So
Whoa, that's great,
I'm
man.
pretty grateful, and hopefully that gives me more time in my life to do other
Congrats,
stuff. But we'll see. We'll
dude.
see what happens.
The commute life, man. I think if you are from Houston, everybody's kind of used to it. If you're not from Houston, it sounds fucking ridiculous that you have to drive so far sometimes. And like I feel like I live pretty close to my job. I do, like mileage wise, but it takes me like 30 minutes to get there because I have to go through every single stoplight on the way there, basically. So
Damn.
it's like even like it's maybe like I'm gonna say like a 10-15 mile away from my house, which is nothing crazy.
Yeah.
And it takes me forever just because I have to hit every single like there's like no way around it. Like my wife, she works in the medical center, and it takes her 40 minutes to get there, and that's far, right? I mean,
Jeez.
and she'll get traffic and stuff. Yeah, you just
I
get
got
used
I
to
got a
it, man.
3-minute commute.
Exactly, dude. I'm telling you, exactly. I remember as a
Now
kid,
he's just showing off.
there's the one of my friends growing up in high school. He was born in Seattle, and then but his parents were from Mexico City, so they would go to like from Seattle to Mexico City and then Houston, and they just kind of keep doing that till he was probably a freshman in high school. Anyways, but he would tell me like where I'm from, which was like a tiny little he was from Seattle, but he actually like basically lived most of his life in a little tiny town about 2-3 hours away. And he would say like we lived in Pearland, and Pearland here it's a big city, dude. Like it's a you can take Pearland by itself or Katy by itself, like
Yeah,
those big suburb cities. They can be standalone cities in the middle of nowhere, and
for
they're
sure.
huge. And it just cracked me up because he would say like this from here to here, like for me to cross my whole town, it was like 5 minutes, and like just to cross Pearland, like for me to get to my parents' house, it's like 20 minutes, from side to
It's
side.
huge.
It's
Yeah.
freaking crazy. But yeah, I envy your 3-minute commute. You know what? I envy the people that work from home. They have no commute, so it's fantastic.
For real.
I mean, people
Shout out,
commute in
shout out to them.
Albuquerque. It's just the fact that I just happen to live right next to my
Oh,
office.
I'm sure, but I mean, you've been to Houston. I mean, it's just
Oh,
so
it's
big.
huge. It's crazy.
It's
It's
ridiculous.
it's great, and you have to drive everywhere. Like the
Mhm.
metro is fine and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like you have to be inside 610, and even then, you're probably riding the bus for like 5 hours to get to work or whatever.
Jesus.
Because it takes
For
forever.
real.
But yeah, Rushan's been put into work. He just keeps commenting soccer related stuff. So we're clearly not on track here.
We'll
But
get
you
to
know
it.
what?
We'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get there. No, overall, I think like I mentioned, it was a great week, man, for Houston sports. Obviously, and we're all of them were away wins too. So that's even better, right?
Yeah.
We start with Houston Dynamo 2, and we'll kick off with that. Christian, I know you wrote Tuesday. Just your summary, man, of the match for someone that didn't watch it like myself. I didn't get to watch that game.
No, it was probably the best starting 11, in my opinion, maybe that Kenny Bundy put out there. So it was, I think they just got tired of losing or not, accumulating any points, and they were like, well, at least there's a little bit of a glue put together to kind of put these guys in there. They got to know each other over the time. The excuse of everybody's new, it's just, you can only say that for so long, right? So I think it's been like 5-6 games, if not 7. I might be somewhere around that area. But they just went all out. They went to
7, exactly
7.
7. Yeah.
Okay, 7. Yeah. So they went to Salt Lake City or around there, and they had never lost to that team, and they kept that undefeated streak against that one specific team. I think it's 5 games that they played them, 5 games that they beat them. And no, I mean it was a pretty close, tight, close game. It's cool to see how Dynamo those kind of resembles what you see in the first team, the whole possession. Um, the Kenny Bundy from like the first couple of years, which was lose the ball, get it back real fast, type thing. Very Man City esque, of just kind of recuperating the ball, getting the ball, having the ball, controlling the ball, and just they fought it like that. They got scored on first. They were able to get the tying goal, and then towards the end, when it seemed like maybe both teams were looking, to kind of go for that extra point, then they found the secondary goal, which gave them the full 3 points, and they were able to hold, Real Salt Lake, who at the end kind of went all out, just to tie it up, which that's what makes it fun, right? Because like even if you tie, you get a chance to get another point, so it kind of gives you that incentive to go and tie it up. I mean, it's not that you wouldn't want to tie it up either way, right?
Right.
But that nothing is lost, if you tie, because you get an extra point. You could actually come out victorious, quote unquote, if you tie. And then, Xavier Valdez had 2 really good saves towards the end. It helps that he's super tall and slanky, and like he can just kind of fly everywhere. So he had 2 really good saves that kind of kept the team afloat, and 3 points were brought to Houston. So it's going to be fun. Next Wednesday, they had a long time with no soccer. They will be playing St. Louis, who is pretty decent. St. Louis too. They beat Austin at home. Now they're traveling in Texas, so we'll see what happens there. But I'm actually kind of trying to coordinate to be at that game. So
which one? The St.
St. Louis.
Me too.
Yeah, Wednesday at 7 p.m.
I'm gonna try to make it myself.
Yeah. So it's gonna be my last week at my previous location at work. So since I'm gonna be around, I'm gonna just try to make it, because then after that is gonna be another 40 minutes to kind of go out there. So I'll be close by, get off of work, jump to the game, and then come home. But it should be fun. I mean, Dynamo Los is looking a lot better. The guys are starting to score more. Arsu is becoming very cool to look at. Sargent is having really good games. Diego is having
Gonzalez
really good games.
been a beast.
Finally found his form.
He is exactly what they needed. That pass that he beat. Did he assist them both? Well, no, he set up Reed on the second.
He set up Reed,
on a fantastic ball. I was definitely reminded me of your favorite player in Riquelme. The way that he plays that ball into that space.
In the space.
And then the second goal what about that one? Or the first goal, I'm sorry.
So the first goal came from, I'm really blank. Yeah, I'm blanking on his name, but it was one of the draft picks.
Celia.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was a header. But it was a good header because, it wasn't, just kind of like he found it. He actually went for the ball, anticipated a couple of defenders to the ball. So he, you can tell that he was looking to score, obviously, right? As a forward, you want to do that. And, but it was you can see the drive to score.
Rushan does ask about, what do you think about Ashara? What you liked about him so far?
Not much, to be honest.
I think he looks good.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I haven't watched every single game, but just the fact that he's an older guy, it feels like it's kind of what happened to the last team, last year. A bunch of those guys were a little bit older, and they feel like they kind of had to be moved on so they can either flourish themselves, like Talon Maples is doing in New Mexico, or just kind of go to another team like Carolina Core where they're not flourishing as much, right? But at least they found a different place that could, house them. Because, if you're in Houston, you're trying to build up, the bench, literally. You're trying to build up, the players of the club of the future or whatever. And when you have a bunch of 20-some guys in soccer nowadays, if you're 25, you're old, and it's wild, right? And a lot of those guys were getting to that age. And Ashara, he's kind of getting to that age. I think they give him another opportunity because last year he wasn't able. I think he was injured or something.
Yeah.
when we got
He
him.
was injured, and then he came back and got injured again, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
so he wasn't able to prove himself on that year that he got. And I think they just kind of, gave him the benefit of the doubt. They were like, here's Dynamo Dos, play your ass out there. And then if we can bring you into the first team, I don't know. Me personally, like I said, I haven't watched every single game as I would want to, but the games that I have watched, Ashara has been, at most mid for me.
It's going to take a while. He's coming off two ACL injuries. It's going to take him some time.
Yeah, but then it's one of those things. Is like, how long do you wait for a 20-some-year-old? You know what I mean?
Agreed.
So it's one of those
I'd say
complicated
if there was
situations.
better options, I would agree with that, but there really isn't.
Mm-hmm.
True, I agree.
And,
The guys behind him are pretty young too, so they're coming, fresh out of college or fresh from a U17 or a U19 team. So they're also pretty like green and raw, like most of that Dynamo 2 team. So, but we'll see what time says.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I was just gonna say, Rafael Pineda asked about when will the new player for the Dynamo, or when will we see the new player play for the Dynamo? I'm thinking he's talking about Jefferson Valverde, and we'll hit on that. But there was a new guest player brought in, which was Jordi Burbano, and he got plugged in directly into the starting lineup and played 55 minutes. Just looking at football, it looked like he had 11 touches, 2 passes in the final third. No shots taken, but I
thought he was good.
He was good.
His stats
he was just
decent.
Pressing. He reminded me of like, well, I don't know, not exactly like them, but like Kowalczyk, the way that he just kind of like runs everywhere and pressures it everywhere, and he's just kind of on top of you, not letting you, think about what you're gonna do next type thing.
Sure.
You want that pressure. Obviously, this guy's a lot younger, so his stamina was a lot there, and he's a big guy, tall dude. You can tell that if he develops into what into his best form, he could be a menace because he has the height, he has the body. I think he can bulk up a little bit more. But I mean, there's potential there for sure. So we'll see. Obviously, it was his first game, new team, new country. You can throw all those things in there. You have to get acclimated to everything. But I think there's something there.
And obviously, both of the goals coming from picks for the Houston Dynamo, so that's good. I feel like Steven Anor has struggled some, at least in some games, and we even talked about the fact that the few games I had seen, I kept seeing him start, and I kept seeing him struggled, and I think one of you guys pointed out that he's actually been benched recently.
Yeah, he's only started 2 games.
Yeah, so he's probably started the first 2 games, and then since then he's seen the bench, and but he scored. He came in. Super sub or not, Chris, dude comes in, puts the ball in, and that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes, man.
Sometimes you just got to be there to tap them in.
And I think at the end of it, we know what Dynamo 2 is. It's not to win full games. It's to give guys opportunities, give them experience. Like you mentioned, a lot of these guys being pretty young, maybe a lot of under 23s, 22s. So it's good to see this youth get some playing time. But we're all going to be we are super happy for Kenny Bundy, man. He definitely is a winner. And he's going to push for a win. So him getting his first W after, like you mentioned, 7 games. Finally, he can pop some champagne and jump on a couch and be excited about it for sure and keep it going. Guys, again, they play Wednesday, like you mentioned, Dynamo 2, St. Louis City 2. Tickets are free. So if you're in the area, go check them out. The support, it's always welcome for those guys as they push to make it into the first team and beyond. Chris, before we get too far into it, because it's already been 20 minutes, let's do some housekeeping and tell the people how they can connect with us, brother.
Yes, BayouCitySoccer.net, guys. That's where you can find everything and anything. Social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, the YouTube channel. Check everything out at Bayou City Soccer. That's where you're just going to find everything. And yeah, go get your merch. Drop a little tip if you have a little extra cash for just kind of laying around. It helps pay for everything that we do. from the website to pay for stuff like this that we do here. It just kind of helps everything, and we try to bring you the best coverage and the best takes, the best educated takes. When it comes to the soccer, obviously try not to be as biased and just kind of be as honest as we can with the knowledge that we have. But I think we have really good stuff coming out. I mean, I really love what the guys here on the screen are doing, and Dusting and everybody that it contributes. All the pictures are fire from the photographers that we have. So even if you don't like what we write, go look at what the pictures they take, because I think those are really, really good. So shout out to everybody that helps us out with that. But yeah, everything you're gonna find at BayouCitySoccer.net. And shout out to Ugly Guppy that also gives us a hand to continue the soccer coverage in the city.
Yeah, you put it, man. The photographers that we have right now have been lit on their content, man. So shout out to Billy, Omar, Diego. I want to call him Matt all the time. Francia was out there too, and doing videos and stuff like that in the doing video, and Aldo. So a lot of great photographers out there, so it's good stuff from them, and it makes their content look even cooler because, like you mentioned, Joey has been on fire with his ratings. We dropped a couple games, and that was my bad because I should have stepped up and done them, Joey, so that way we can take turns, and putting our names on it makes a lot of sense for people to be critical, man. At the end of the day, we're putting our name and our face on it, so but those that was purely Joey's idea of highlighting a couple of the guys on our Instagram and our Twitter, and those have looked very good. So I designed them and everything, but those pictures are perfect that we keep getting from the guys. So it's been great. And yeah, Ugly Guppy, man, go check out Ugly Guppy, support them, hit them up if you need anything custom. I know there's a lot of parties, graduation things happening right now, and just summer. It's summer's always crazy with kids parties and all the good stuff and events. So hit up Ugly Guppy. Make sure to call Carlos Aguilar. He obviously supports the show, and I need to get with him. I need to get with Jace, who's a huge Dynamo fan. He's really who. If it wasn't for Jace, maybe we would have never heard of Ugly Guppy. But Jace is a big fan. He loves the show. He may be listening to this, so shout out to him. We'll need to get with him and maybe get a couple more shirts for at least us, if it's not for everybody to buy. But yeah, man, love the support. And like Christian said, man, buy us a beer, buy us a coffee, whatever you guys want. Buy us some bubble tea. Something, man.
That's a thing now, huh?
That's a thing now, that's for sure. All right, so let's get into another successful game, which was a sweat for most of the time, but that was the Houston Dash against Angel City.
Oh my god!
Every time I get on this show, I always say how I'm the pessimistic one, but I've been trying hard to watch these games. Okay, I've actually taken time. Yeah, I know, right? It's difficult whenever you have a lot of things happening, but I've been doing my best to watch the Houston Dash play. I think. I enjoy watching women's soccer, the NWSL specifically. But the only times I get to watch it is when I'm watching the Dash, so I can kind of cover them as well. So, yeah, Joey, I don't know if you got to watch it or if you went back and watched it. It started like most of the games for the Dash, and obviously, I think whenever we talked last week, we only focused on the midweek game, which obviously ended in a loss against Juan Carlos Amaros, 1-0. And then the game which actually I don't think I watch that one. I can't remember now. But the one on Sunday, that one I did watch, and it was the same. I mean, comparing. Oh, never mind. I did watch the Wednesday game, and it was one of those that, and you can maybe add on this, but it feels like it's Jane Campbell just saving the team. That's for most
I don't
of the
know
game.
about this last game. I
No.
that.
I'm saying from the beginning.
Okay.
Like most of the beginning of the one on Wednesday, but let's just focus on Sunday. On Sunday, it was a lot of Jane doing some big saves early on and just keeping it afloat. I think eventually, maybe about 30 minutes in, the game kind of settled down. for both teams. And then the second half was mostly Houston Dash kind of going
It was
at it.
all Dash.
Yeah.
I thought the midfield looked really good in this game, which is something that's been quite rare to see because we haven't seen a lot of possession
Mm-hmm.
in the final third. This game looked a lot better in that sense. Still didn't win the possession battle, but times when they were able to keep possession and build some attacks, it looked a lot better than it has.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part to do with that is from just some really good midfield players just stepping up. I thought Sophie Hurst had a really good second half. She's a player I've been pretty critical about when it comes to her play in possession. She's been really good off the ball, great defender, but yeah, her play in possession was a lot better in this game. Um, Barb Olivieri, she is really improving. I thought her ability to just grab the ball in transition and run with it is so good. It's kind of, she kind of reminds me of Coco in a way, in the sense where
Mm-hmm.
she's really good carrying the ball through that midfield, and then at times when you want her to create something for a teammate, she kind of falters. But I mean, defensively, she was absurdly good in the pressing department in this game.
Yeah, I like players, and yeah, Rushan, you mentioned it. I think Bagman has been a surprise. She's been playing very well. There's some
Very
questions.
involved.
Yeah, there were some questions on the fact that obviously didn't seem like she was getting a lot of playing times at PSG. 33 years old. You know how the speed of the game was going to get to her. She struggled in her first match. She just looked like the other players were running circles around there. She was making silly fouls, pulling on late fouls, just either late on a tackle or you start getting lazy and start pulling the opposition to slow them down. And we saw that midweek. But on Sunday, you're right. She was very involved. She's been probably one of the best players so far for them. When other players like Andresa has struggled when getting a lot of minutes, so you could see why they're moving in a different direction. But
Oh yeah, Andress has been a huge disappointment.
yeah, she only played. I think she came in the 77-minute,
Mhm.
and she's struggling for sure. She did, I guess, counted as in the.
Assist in the set piece.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, but at the same time, and then another one, Alosia has been lost for a
Oh
lot
my
of,
god,
and she looked bad. She had a couple of sitters
that
that
was the worst 15-minute period I've ever seen from a forward coming off the bench. That when everyone trashes Aliu on Twitter, that's actually what a bad forward looks like. That is what people say Aliu on Twitter looks like. That's what Alozi is.
she looked like a Bambi trying to find her foot.
That was abysmal.
Yeah, and she had quite a few that you're like right there, shoot it, and it was just 1, 2, 3 more steps, and it was gone.
Yep.
The defender would block it, or her
The
shot would
frustrating
wide.
part about that whole thing too is Deanna struggled to get a lot of chances in this game. The second she gets subbed at for Alozi, all the chances just start pouring to the striker. Like that
Yep.
one play where Alozi was just alone
Wide
in the
open.
box,
She was
pretty
wide
much
open. Yep.
wide open. Aerial ball comes in, able to take a touch, turn, shoot. That's the exact play you want Diana Ordonez on. That's her bread and butter right there, and she's not on the field. It's such a
Yep.
shame.
Yeah, and so yeah, you're right. I think some of the new players, obviously Nielsen has been big. I mean, you can just tell she's a leader. Even the game before this one, but um, dude, I mean, she scores in the last minute, last second, I guess, and wins it against her former team, and she celebrated that. I mean, there is no ifs and buts about it. You're usually some people, some players tend to be respectful when it comes to like, hey, it's my former team. No, man, she let all out, and it was great to see.
It was
It was great
incredible.
for her to get that goal, and she struck that thing very well, man.
Very well. So another player that needs a huge shout out from that game was Avery Patterson.
Mm-hmm.
She put in an incredible defensive shift, and then in transition as well, just incredible.
Yeah, Amanda West had played very well. I'm keep telling you guys, I think that she could be the next big star for the Dash.
I don't
She
know.
She's the thing is, I feel like she is getting played out of position some, as maybe even her Penn or yeah, was it Penn? Penn no, not Penn. Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. She's from
Oh, I
Pitt.
don't know.
She's from Pitt. She's from Pitt. I was
Let's
trying
fact
to, I
check
was gonna
this real
say
quick.
Penn State. Hey, you don't
That's
believe
right.
me? Man. And
I don't not believe you. I just want to know.
yeah, so she obviously she played as a straight central forward. Lately they've been kind of moving her out wide,
She has no
as
information
Rushan
on her.
mentions, Ali U and stuff. Yeah. But anyways, I feel like she if probably we see her more as the striker next to where there be next to Ordonez or because even Ordonez has played a lot of not out of position, but she comes back a lot. Have you noticed that, Joey? It looks like I mean, they're making
Well,
this
yeah.
girl work,
I mean,
man.
she's one
Like,
of the only forwards who could possess the ball well. So
yeah, I mean, she comes all the way back. Sometimes it looks like she's playing defensive midfielder at times,
yeah,
trying to
she
recover the
has
ball.
to.
So,
Some of these midfield players that they just can't get it done in possession. I mean, today was or not today. Sunday was a little bit of a different story because we saw players like Barb and Bachman and the two Sophies play pretty well in the midfield. So they didn't have to as much, which is great to see because if they could play like that week in, week out and allow Deanna to do her thing in the box, I mean, she's going to score loads of goals. That's what she does. She's clinical.
yeah, I think they just need to give her more opportunities. And then, like I mentioned in the past, I'll be the pessimistic. But at the end of the day, I like what I'm seeing. I do like what the new players or some of the new players for the Dash are doing, and whether this is a playoff team or not, because at the end of the day that's what everybody's shooting for, to see them back in the playoffs in their what would be the second time in their history. It's an early season, so time will tell, but at the end of the day, if you're winning, that's always good. Let me see. Dago mentions Mbappe has said he's leaving PSG. So to say his head is to the Houston Dynamo. Thoughts? Mbappe, wow. That's funny. What's it called though? Yeah, and so just finishing the Dash. The Dash do play on Friday. They'll be playing against Portland Thorns at Shell Energy Stadium. So if you're a Houston Dash fan, NWSL fan, go get some tickets, make it out there. Soccer on a Friday doesn't sound bad at all, man.
No,
I
not at
wish,
all.
I wish I could go. I need him. I have not gone to a game yet for the Dash. I don't
It's
think.
probably a good thing because they seem to be worse at home. So
Yeah, I'll be there for the 24th, which
both teams this year. What's up with that?
I know, man. They're big winning more away games. So
The Dynamo have a better record on the road than they do at home.
Damn.
let me see. What is? I know that's crazy. Hey, and I love it. We'll get into them a little bit because that talk we had on Friday was dead on, and
Both Dash games, both their wins are on the road, right?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Yep.
it was
Against
in LA and then Bay FC. Yeah,
well, maybe do they hate California teams?
California.
That's for sure.
yeah.
San Diego Wave. Get ready.
Yeah, they haven't played them yet.
That's if any team I want them to destroy, it's the San
Ooh, that's
Diego
Maria
Wave.
Sanchez, man. Payback.
She comes to Houston in June 22nd. Mark your calendars for that one.
You think it's gonna be friendly?
I hope it's not.
Courteous. It's gonna be the very courteous thing ever, man. That's funny.
I want to see Paige get stuck in on her.
Let's see, Paulina, how you doing, Paulina? She put whoops on my girl's YouTube. LOL. DFTV. Oh, it's David. What's up, David from Dynamo Fan TV? I was like, dang, who's Paulina over here? Trying to holler at Chris, man.
Whoa! What did I do?
We're gonna get in trouble.
Joey's a single guy here.
Hey, you don't have to be single
here.
for girls to like trying to talk to you, man. I'm just saying. And never stop anybody.
I haven't talked to a girl since like 2010, bro.
David says my girl has YouTube Premium. That's funny.
Shout out.
So again, game this Friday. I won't be to the game. I'm gonna make it the next Friday, which is against. What did I just say? I took it off. North Carolina Courage. So I'll be at my first Dash game of the season. But I'm hoping to get a couple in the summer that I can cover because those tend to be fun.
I'm loving the Friday games. It's 3 in a row we're getting. That's beautiful.
Yeah, there's a
schedule.
bunch of those. There's a couple Sundays, and I think most of the rest are Saturdays. So yeah,
Not many
it's
Saturdays left. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 more Saturday games left in the season. It's
yep.
not
And
a lot.
there's a Thursday game against Pachuca there. So
Chuk.
I forgot about
Pachuca.
that. Those,
Oh
I
yeah,
may I may go
yeah,
to
yeah.
those. Those are the ones I'm gonna may have to go to. Tigres and Pachuca, like one of those. Those the Sunday or probably Thursday will be a good one. Dang, and then they have like a month off. Is it the World Cup? No, not the World Cup.
World Cup, huh?
Women's. They have a break between August all the way to 23rd. Oh, maybe it could just of that tournament.
Oh, the Challenge Cup.
Yeah.
They changed the way that. Yeah.
Or so, no, I don't know. It just doesn't show games.
The tournament because you have the other rounds like quarterfinals, semifinals.
Right. With the Mexican like Liga
Mexicans.
MX.
That's gonna be interesting, right? That's a good thing.
Actually that's interesting. Yeah, for sure. I think that
you can also get both fan bases kind of get interested. I think as much as I think in this one it's funny because a lot of people see like in the men's side of the game, like the Mexican teams are like the quote unquote the most popular ones. But I feel like obviously in the women's side, I think the NWSL is like the more, the better league in a way, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a good contrast for both of them. I mean, you always want to see that, that challenge between.
See, I knew that someone smart would have known the answer. Edgar said is the Olympics. So see, I completely forgot about the Summer Olympics.
Yeah, the Olympics.
Clearly,
I always forget the Olympics.
In my head, I'm thinking like the men's side, whether it be like Copa America or Copa Oro or Euros or something like that happening in the summer. And of course, the Olympics, because maybe I'm not thinking about it too much because Mexico's not in it. The U.S. is back.
No, but also like in the women's side is just anybody goes, but I think in the men is only U23s, right?
No, for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
like they take their senior.
The Olympics has been a massive thing for women's soccer, like for a long time, and I enjoy watching those games. That's for sure. So there we go. That's what
soccer,
it was.
Bro.
I knew someone smarter. They're just too much, man.
This summer, Copa America.
Damn. Well, yeah, and that's another thing. Talking about Copa America, I'm so disappointed. Like we tried to get credentials. Well, I tried it. Yeah, it was like we put our credentials, and we all got denied. Like, it's interesting the way that it goes, man. I was hoping to cover one of those games. It would have been fun, something different. And because of that, because I ended up putting all my eggs in that basket, I didn't buy tickets to go to the game. So I am not gonna go and buy tickets for double or triple the price when it happens. All right, guys. So again, Dash, man, they've been doing good. Not a lot of bad things to talk about. We do have to eventually, Joey, do a purely Dash episode
like we
did.
One.
So
lots to talk about. Honestly, I mean,
after
these next few weeks too. I mean, 3 pretty winnable games right here with the Thorns, Courage, and Louisville. So could be a huge turning point in the season, that win against Angel City.
Yeah, for sure. And Rushan, I don't know if I trust Fran yet. I'm not there yet, but the players that have come in, I think they've done better than what I expected. So, yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily because Fran told us that he was going to score like 5-6 goals a game. And we're not there yet.
Well, you need forwards, right? For that.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of them. Sometimes they pull out a lineup, and I asked you guys. I asked Dustin, like, bro, help me out here because I just see midfielders and forwards. Like, who's a defender?
Who's defending?
I can start with the goalkeeper. I'm good there, but everybody else, I have no clue. So they definitely
they only play 3 defenders really, and then it's just all. I mean, it's the wing backs.
Midfielders
pretty high for wing.
I mean, apart from Ordonez, that she's a striker, and then West, but even West, it plays more like a
She
like
plays
a
wing
wing
back a lot
back.
too.
Yeah, so it's a little like
And
over the
Bachman's played
place.
wing back. She's played kind of as a forward. She's played as a 10.
Yeah, so it yeah keeps me guessing, man. That let's just say that, especially I can't remember what well between Wednesday and Sunday there was a lot of changes, and I was lost out of my mind trying to figure out the lineup for that. So, but again,
Let,
I've yeah, what's up? Go for it.
no, I was gonna ask you guys a question since you guys follow the dash more. You know, it's the first year with Fran Alonso, right? It's kind of you bringing a lot of new players in, right? So it's kind of like a rebuild in some type of way. What would be a successful season for the dash? Is it playoffs or just more than that, or playoffs is good enough?
I would say showing that they have an ability to fight for the playoffs. I would say.
Yeah, I think if you miss the playoffs and they still playing well, I think it's good. Like it's a step up.
If they finish where they are right now, they're what, 10th right now.
10th,
How
yeah,
many
they're
points
2 points
off
away.
playoffs? 2 points off. Yeah, if they finish in a position like that, they're fighting for the playoffs till the final day. I think that's a positive season.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, it's NWSL, there's not that many teams.
Yeah,
About
there's only
half of
14,
them
right?
make and about
8
half
of them
of
make
them
it.
make
Yeah,
the
8 of
playoffs.
14 make it.
So chances
Cool.
are high, but I
Just makes the
think
fact that they actually made it once in their history really pathetic.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
yes.
I mean, it just kind of, you know, not to be rude or anything, but it basically it mirrors what the men have been doing as well. So it's been an issue.
But it's funny because I was describing, I was actually watching the game with my soon to be brother-in-law, I suppose, and he was I was telling him, like, explaining to him, because I don't think he's like big into watching, you know, the women's sport, and but just explaining to him about, because he was asking me like, well, are they separate entities and are they under the same roof? And I was like, well, at one point it seemed like they were completely different entities, and lately, since, you know, Tetsigo took over, they've been made it more of a single big club, big unit, and they're spending money, they're allocating funds, you know, they're creating, so it's grown. But explaining to him how in the past, you know, Joey's, you know, talking about the teams that can make the playoffs, and how it's been pretty pathetic that the Dash haven't really made a many, or other than one. I was telling him in the past, NWSL was a lot of like, if you didn't have a U.S. women's national team player, you probably weren't going to be good.
Yep.
And that's not the case anymore. And that's just, I think, in general, because just women's soccer in general, or has grown so much around the world, that, you know, obviously there's nations like Spain, I mean, Japan has been there, but like you have a lot of the European Canada, obviously. Yeah, you're right. I mean, Mexico has stepped it up some. They've always struggled. And then you go to South America, there's maybe Colombia is probably the better one out there. Brazil has always been decent, but as the ones growing. You know, some people see Argentina and they're like, oh, it's Argentina. And it's like, it's not there yet, but it's getting there,
Yeah.
like for a lot of the teams out there. So it makes it interesting, because like now you look at something that I remember Cesar Procel talking about the time that he was with us here, Christian. He mentioned, I was like, well, they have so many internationals. Like, how are they not good? And you were like, well, I don't know. But it's true. Now there are just so many that are actually getting obviously a lot of playing time. Whether if they're in Europe, they're playing Champions League, which is like, that's really big for them compared to some smaller leagues that may only have one or two good teams in it. And then obviously all the international competitions that they're playing, obviously the Olympics, the World Cups, the Euros. So it's pretty cool, man. It's cool to watch, and like I said, this year I've made a point to watch as many games as I can. So I don't. So I know what I'm
So
looking at.
let me ask you guys another question, since obviously you guys know a little bit more. Is the NWSL the best women's league in the world?
Yes.
Yeah. So they, like, the NWSL is the Premier League of women's soccer, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a big statement.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's wild that we have like the Premier League of women's soccer here.
Yeah.
And we should do more.
Yeah. No.
Like as a community, when it comes to like going to the stadium and stuff like that, right? Like that's That's where my head went. Especially like if there's not a lot of teams, there's only 14 teams. Like you would think, a lot of people would be in there, but there's just I think a lot of people are like me are still kind of getting into the women's sport. I mean, I enjoy it. I'll watch it whenever it's there. Right?
I know. The other league is obviously the one in Europe. England. What is it?
WSL.
Yeah, and Nemo says that one's way better. I think they're right there. Obviously you're gonna see it and you're gonna be like, oh, they have Chelsea, they have this, they have that. So
The
it's
German league's very good as well.
A lot of big names, team wide. But it's not necessarily the same. What's up, Edson? Thank you for joining us, my friend. We need to talk more NASCAR later.
I think that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I think a lot of people kind of not confused, but they see the men's side. So obviously you'll see like a Chelsea, Arsenal,
right.
And all these teams, and you want to translate to the women's side, but maybe it doesn't translate as well. I mean, I don't know.
Well, it's just not there. Like I said, a lot of people may see like, oh, Argentina, they're so good, and then you see the women's and they're struggling. Like they're not there yet. It's just different. That's for sure. So, Spain, I think. See, it's maybe recently biased because obviously you have England being didn't win the Euro. They who they lost to in the Euro. I can't think. But was it Spain? No, Spain won the World Cup, right?
Yeah, Spain won the World Cup.
So, I mean, if you think like Spain's a better league, then maybe just because they won the World Cup and a lot of their players do play in Spain.
Yeah, you have to see that because, I mean, Argentina won the World Cup and none of them play in the Argentinian league. So,
yeah. Not one. Was there a guy from River Plate? Maybe
wasn't there one player on the Argentina team?
There's probably. I know the second goalkeeper played in Argentina, but I can't think of
from River Plate.
We got an MLS player in there.
An MLS player, yeah. I mean, it's but I mean, more 99.9 were European.
Ain't that center back too?
What was that guy's name? I know one got called up now, but I don't not in
I
the
might
World
be
Cup.
wrong. I'm thinking of someone wrong.
They also had Real Madrid players, Nemo, and he says Spain's team was basically Barcelona. They had some Barcelona, they had some Real Madrid.
Their women's team?
Yeah.
I mean, that Barcelona team might be the best women's soccer team on the planet.
Yeah, they have your cousin,
That team is nuts.
Putellas.
Yeah, that team is
wild.
Yeah.
That blew my mind. When I saw that, I was like, bro, her last name is very similar to mine. We could be related somewhere down the line. Obviously, I didn't get any of the skills, but shout out to her.
No, yeah, Chris, you're right. The only Argentina player that played in the Argentina league was Franco Marni. Yeah. And then Almada was the only other guy who didn't play in Europe as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he got some minutes, so shout out to him.
Yeah.
So Armani didn't.
If you're listening and you're not into women's soccer yet, give it a try. Like I said, NWSL is a good start, and just because Houston, there's a team. Do it. Edgar says NWSL is the most competitive league in the world. Barcelona dominated their league, winning 9-0. No one can compete at that level there. Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, and it's kind of like the same thing whenever Fran Alonso got hired. I mentioned the fact that he's coming from Celtic in Scotland. Celtic. Is it Celtic? Celtic? People call it
Celtic.
I've heard both, bro. So I call it Celtic usually. I said Celtic because someone corrected me once. But anyway, so he was being in the top league, beating everybody. I think he scored his team scored like 80 something goals, in comparison, and probably only took in like maybe 10 or 15. So there's a big gap in some of those teams, right? I mean, so if an NWSL league that anybody can beat anybody, keeps it competitive, kind of like EPL, right? So we see it. So some people say that is the best leagues. If we're going to talk Barcelona, I always say, well, look, all these EPL teams can't beat Real Madrid or Barcelona. Why? When you guys, and then obviously, and that's all obviously the top teams, but then you have Atletico Madrid, you have Sevilla, Villarreal, and they still struggle against teams like that, so. Anyways,
and then also going back to the point of like the players from the national team playing that league. I mean, if you look at the women's national team, the U.S. women's national team, they're the most successful team, right, in women's soccer. And 80%, if not more, play in in the NWSL. So that basically translates well right there. Like
Yep.
the league itself is
Mhm.
funneling all the players for the national team, and you can kind of see that turn around and the national team having success, showing in the NWSL how good that league can be and competitive as well. So
I think there's only two, three Americans that don't play in MWSL on the national team regularly.
Yep.
that's crazy. That's good. That's really
Ferran,
good.
Fox. Who
Yep.
else? I can't even think.
Yeah. I thought one of their goalkeepers, but no, I think she's
Probably one of the goalkeepers right now. It's
no, I think the North Carolina chick, which
Chicago
someone got
and,
injured, I think. Maybe
and Jane is on the team now. So
yeah. I was gonna add one more thing really. Oh, you're talking about leagues. For a long time, Liga MX fans would always mention how they were one of the best leagues because in big tournaments, a lot of players, especially that played in South America, were there. Like played in Mexico. So yeah, it's all about just
the way you want to twist it. Yeah, exactly.
perception. Yeah. All right, guys, but let's go ahead and get into the Dynamo, man. We are 50 minutes in. Let's try to see how much we can get. So
Christy Mewis was the player I was thinking of. That's who it was.
yes, she ended up going to.
She came back, right?
She
No,
came back?
no,
Came back to the U.S.
no.
Or am I
Oh, yeah, she
thinking
did
of
to Gotham. Yeah.
thinking of her sister? Which
No.
one?
I thought she was in Gotham and then she left. She's
Yeah,
somewhere else.
she went to West Ham.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She was at Gotham. Yes.
Great player. One of my favorite players for the Dash.
She's the one that has a sister. And
Yeah, her
the
sister
was in Europe
retired.
and came back, right?
She was with Man City, I believe, and then she came back and retired, I believe. I think she's done playing.
Sam Lewis.
Yeah, Sam Mewis is her sister, Sam.
Shout out.
And Zed Notorious Nemo says she got her. Man, no, Nemo, you know so much, brother. I like it. I like when people keep. He said tore something, so maybe he doesn't know a lot. He just said tore something.
It's just as detailed as the Dynamo injury reports.
Yeah, abdominal.
lower body injury. Could be like
injury.
Not injury related, as I would have said, instead of personal reasons.
Yeah,
it could be from the hip all the way to the toes. Like,
talking Dynamo, guys. Dynamo against Austin FC tomorrow night. I know Chris, you probably rival match, big match. I know you live so close to Austin nowadays. Tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. in Austin. The team has never won at Q2 Stadium, I believe.
That's wild.
And I mean, short history. It stinks a little more whenever you haven't won in Dallas for like 11 something years or something like that.
That's wild.
That's crazy to me. That's crazy. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk Austin FC, man. Obviously, discussing a little bit of what happened last time. Big win, massive win, 2-1 against Sporting Kansas City, which Joey and myself kind of think that is the rivalry there. I love those matches. Great game. The team looked good. Things that we discussed on Friday, it's basically what happened. Just getting a healthy Hector Herrera. Hector Herrera comes in, has a couple little giveaways, but man, that goal was just fantastic. Let's talk a little bit about that, Chris. You want to touch on it first, or Joey, whoever wants to jump in for that?
No, I just got a quick sentence, and then you can take it, Joey. As a non-fan of short corners, that was a good short corner. But yeah, go ahead, Joey.
What's wrong with short corners?
No, it's one of those things that I like. I feel like a lot of short corners don't end up in the box.
Oh my
So
god!
Modern football.
Oh my!
I mean, I don't.
Football.
That's just my perception.
You need to tune into an Arsenal game, dude. They do short corners all the time, and they're the best set piece team in the planet.
Well, I don't watch Arsenal, so I guess I should watch Arsenal.
Didn't Nantes was it Nantes county manager had
Surrey
that
County?
video? Yeah, he had like that video clip, and we were all sharing and talking about it. How
basically
those corners are still corners and all this.
Yeah.
And he was just going about the percentage, how like they're 60-something% more efficient than just kicking it into the box.
Yeah, because most of the time you kick it into the box these days, the goalkeeper.
But Chris, I'm with you, bro. Kick that shit in the freaking box,
No,
please.
no.
you.
Yes, just he can do one or
create an
two, but
open play attack.
not
You got some
all
big
of
buttons
them, man. Not
there.
all of them. But yeah,
Nine times out of 10, when you play a short corner, you end up like this. God damn it! Why don't we put the ball in the goddamn box?
Oh yeah, maybe if you're a bad team.
yeah,
We are
Dynamo
Dynamo
possess the
supporters,
ball
guys.
well in those zones.
we've suffered enough,
Now
man.
Yeah,
this
now
nice
because
from
they have
Benny came
a guy named Hector Herrera.
exactly.
So yeah,
I'm
the
still
goal
hurt. I'm
there,
still recovering.
Joey. You like the goal?
Did I like the goal? No, it
It
sucked.
was-
I mean, yeah, it was goal of the week contender. I mean, it's not going to win it because what's his name on the Miami scored a banger of a free kick. So,
Oh, that was Rojas. Oof.
but yeah, it was fantastic goal. I like the short corners. As soon as Hector opened his legs, was gonna spin that in the top corner. I knew it was gonna be a goal.
You saw it.
It was
You
a
just
curler.
see it. You saw the way he opened his body up. Yeah, it's going to the back of the net.
Yeah, Team Ilya didn't even move. Yeah, it was fantastic. Obviously, Fubov had Hector Herrera being like the top rated. I think he played very well. He only played 70 minutes, as
So
we
I
see
did
him
not have
getting.
as my man of the match.
Because I mean, did you have? Anyways,
He had
Dorsey
some
was
stinkers in that game. He had some really awful passes, especially in the first half.
yeah. Dorsey was obviously another one that had a very good game. Since he was red carded, I touched on the fact that this was basically a blessing in disguise. The dude has looked good. Obviously, he looked really good on Wednesday when the team lost in penalties in the US Open Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked very well here. He had a couple nice progressive carries as we joked around since you were missing half of the time.
Shout out.
And he set up, I think, obviously the goal for Aliu, fantastic. It was a little scary from the angle that everybody was watching. Once Aliu kicked that ball and it left him, he blocked it. So I was just feeling that thing was gonna like get pushed out wide, but it went in.
It was like an Henri finish. It was beautiful.
It was great. And then I think he did. Dorsey had a similar exact play with Bossy at the end of it, and Bossy just didn't do well.
The Bossy was offside.
Was he offside at that
Yeah,
one?
he was offside.
I think so. Yeah.
And which that's another guy. I mean, Bossy just keeps getting a lot of crap from the fans, just because he's not. I mean, he doesn't have 18 penalties scored this season, which I mean, who will blame him, right? But he's been playing really good. I think we touched last week that this is the best Bossy we've seen,
by
since,
far.
like last year compared to this year. Massive step forward. He's definitely more careful with the ball at his feet. And sometimes that can be frustrating because you feel like he could take a shot and he doesn't, or he's just waiting for somebody to be open on top and drive a ball directly towards their feet to get scored, and it's just not there. So at times, but he has played very well. So the great win, massive win. It was a very fought out match. Sporting Kansas City. It was Peter Vermees after the game was definitely not happy. I listened to Glenn Davis' show, and he was playing the sound bites of that. And he wasn't necessarily calling some of the players by name, but by the way he was saying it, some of the players were going to run quite a lot of laps and just extra, what's it called? I guess tape time to improve their game, man. So
it had to be their midfield. Oh my god, their midfield was just non-existent on that Dorsey play.
Yeah, and surprisingly, to me watching the game, their best player was Memo Rodriguez.
Yeah,
he played one of the best games, man.
Memo played a really good game. Memo's been fantastic this whole season for them. And it goes back to we've had this conversation before on this podcast, I'm sure last year, is that Memo Rodriguez, if you don't play him as a winger, you don't play him as a 10, if you play him as an 8, he is a very solid MLS player.
Yeah, it's crazy. I
don't understand why that's been such a difficult concept for all these coaches all these years. I mean, Tab played him as an 8 in 19 and 20, or not 19 and 20, and he was one of the best players on the team that year. Then he goes to playing him as a 10, and then they come and play him as a winger with what was the coach's name? Naga, that's his name.
Nagamura.
Short live.
Very
Nagamura.
short-lived. Naga plays him as a winger, and he's
RIP.
like almost useless. Like he's
Yeah.
a good 8. He plays good defense. He runs his ass off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he played fantastic. Rushan asked if we liked Memo's colored hair.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and dude, I don't know, Chris. We're
That
gonna
shit's
have
trash.
we're gonna have to take, what's the guy's name? You're not the father. Whenever you share that picture of your kid, he had the same hair as Memo, man. I had questions, man. I had questions.
That's
A
terrible.
player that reminds me of Memo on the team right now is Kovalchik, man. I think
Yes.
Kovalchik, same thing. Play this
Yes.
dude as an 8, and he's going to be put in a shift. He's not that
Yeah.
kind of offensive guy like Memo. I think they have similar play styles.
Yeah, I think he struggles.
In height.
He's so much better with the ball, though. Like when it comes to controlling the ball, Kovalchik, just with the dynamo, not comparing him to Memo Rodriguez, just he's good with that ball, but he just can't find the final pass, into and there I think wasn't there one that he could have taken a shot and he didn't. I can't remember now if it was this game or the game before, but I'm blanking.
I don't remember the exact position you're speaking of, but yeah, I mean he's just kind of frustrating. He covers so
It
much ground.
it was last game because it says shot off target. So
He
I know
plays
took
really
a
good
shot
defense. I mean, I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm not happy with Kovalchik, but he
but
could
if
be
someone
so
came
much
knocking,
better.
you would sell them.
If someone in MLS or Poland came back and they're like, we want him. I think for the salary he's on, the international spot, and he's just kind of had a meh impact in the team. Yeah, I'd sell him.
Yeah, Nemo.
I feel like Joey has like 1,000 tabs open. He's just going back and
Click, 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 click.
like just like contracts and like stats. That's what's up. I wish I had that in my brain.
What's it
But I
called?
don't.
Nemo
I
said
respect that.
we should do a TV show, Welcome to Dynamo, with Ryan Reynolds. Bro, I love that show. I'm a big fan. That's the only other. Don't call me Manny Olivares with his 10,000 teams. Manny, shout out to you. But I definitely try to watch some West Ham. Darren says, I thought KC game was the most we've resembled our good form from the second half of last year. Yep, I agree, man.
Yeah,
That looks
because
good.
there's one consistency from last year to this year in this game, and it was the fact that Hector Herrera played most of the game.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Rushan says we sell for Sevas. I guess buy out Sevas Ferreira. I mean, at this point, I
we
think,
talked about it on Friday.
Yeah, we talked about it on Friday. I think it'd be difficult, but I wouldn't be surprised at this point. And then we'll keep talking. Well, let's finish. I'll save this other question here for once we're done. So, again, we can all say that the game on Saturday against Sporting Gazette was probably one of the best games for the Dynamo. They looked like themselves. They played well. But even though in the past they played well, they just hadn't gotten a result, and they did this time, which is great. We hope that continues. Unfortunately for them, they have 2 games back to back, one Wednesday or tomorrow night against Austin and then against Dallas. Let's start with Austin real fast, guys. I mean, quick turnaround. I mean, they're professionals. We get it. This is they played last Wednesday, then they play Saturday, then play Wednesday, they play Saturday. So the games just add up for this veteran team or or experienced team. We're not calling the team old, Ben. We promise. but yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on them making the Austin trip there, Chris? What are your thoughts, dude? You think what was the result? What are you expecting from this match?
Well, on the article that you're gonna see tomorrow, I said 1-1 draw. I feel like we'll have a lot of rotations for both teams because Austin also has a Wednesday game, obviously a Wednesday game and a Saturday game. They play Sporting Kansas City on Saturday, and I don't know. We'll see how both teams line up. There might be rotations, there might be not, but obviously tired legs and everything like that, as you guys mentioned. But we are getting into a break soon, so maybe everybody's just kind of firing off before you get to that break. And I mean, Dynamo plays very, very well. I think we don't score a lot, but we play very well. So we could at least get a goal. And I feel like Austin has better attacking options. When you look at Rubio, when you look at what's the other kid, the Argentinian, that guy, Driussi, and
Rigoni. I'll just
yeah,
start naming
yeah,
Argentina.
they have a lot more.
Is Maxi Urruti still there?
Right?
I don't know.
I was thinking about him the other day with his pirata ass, but yeah, they have better attacking options. So maybe one of those guys could slip in a goal, and it could just be a 1-1 draw. That's just my kind of how my brain works.
Austin did play Saturday, and they played in Dallas, lost 2-1. So, I know
that was an interesting game too.
I didn't get to watch. Why? Actually, I didn't watch any highlights, and I tend to do just to see kind of what the team looked like. So,
why is that, Joey?
Well, I mean, it's only the third time this year that Austin's had a better XG than the other opponent, so they've been not very good in terms of defending because they've had their expected goals against has been in the high 2s and the 3s almost every game this season. They went against Dallas. They dominated the game, 65% possession. And then they out expected goals them, and they lost. So, like, on paper, it's one of their best performances of the season, and they lost. And then you compare that to the game against the Dynamo they played, and that was statistically one of their worst games this entire season. And they won that. So, they're a really bizarre team that have kind of lucked their way in some games and also got really unlucky in some games. And I think part of that is due to their inconsistencies in the final third with their attacking trio and their back line. There's lots of inconsistencies there. What they do have is good is they have a good goalkeeper in Stuver, and then their midfield three of Driussi, Ring, and Pereira is excellent. It's a fantastic midfield. So it's going to be a really interesting match to see how they match up with the Dynamo. Again, at Q2 Stadium, we saw the Dynamo very much outplay them at Shell in the midfield part of the game. And that was without Hector Herrera, right? He didn't start the game. No, he didn't.
Right.
So it's going to be fascinating. I think that's where the game is going to be won because I think both teams really struggle with their attacking trio of players. I think the Dynamo have a better backline and probably a better goalkeeper and probably a better midfield. But Austin's playing at home, so I'd say probably advantage them. But I'm going to go draw. Because, I mean, look at the Dynamo. I mean, even talking about home advantage and stuff, the Dynamo have been better on the road this year. So.
So you're going with draw. Yeah, the article you're talking about, Chris, coming out. I put a loss. I was a pessimistic one. I put a 2-1. And the only reason why is because I'm selfish and I want to get things correctly if it happens, okay? But no, looking at both teams, I think the Dynamo have the upper hand. Playing away, they've been playing good. You guys mentioned the fact that they have a ton of wins on the road compared to wins at home. So this season and obviously in the past, I mean, the Dynamo have not been great on the road. And seeing the way that they are not afraid to be who they are, holding possession, trying to slowly break the defensive back lines, I think it's probably more realistic that I'm going to be incorrect, and I think it's going to be a positive result on Wednesday. So, yeah, I totally agree with you. I was going to say, Rushan said Ruti left ATX with shame. He left some salty comments for some reason. I think Will Bruin did the same thing. I don't think he was very happy.
Austin?
Yeah, with Austin.
No, it's been the opposite. He's been slobbering all over Austin. He's been doing like podcasts.
He has like a show, right?
Yeah. He's been joining podcasts and like tweeting about them nonstop. It seems like he completely forgot about the Dynamo and he's all in on Austin.
My boy's choking on it. Choking on the broccoli.
What's it called? Dago asked a question which we touched on Friday, but he says if we were to get a third DP, would you want a big name from Europe or would you like a Hernan Lopez or Matias Rojas type of signing? I think if name-wise is difficult to say, but if you go back and listen to the show on Friday, we kind of mentioned more or less. Well, Joey definitely spent some time.
It's hard to answer that question, really, because, I mean, it depends on who the player is. I mean, you talk about old stars, they have to be a fit. If they're not a fit, then I don't want them. Like we talked about Alexis Sanchez on Friday. I think that's an example of an old player that'd be a great fit.
Right.
There's
That
lots of
would be
ones
great.
that wouldn't be. Yeah, and then I mean, young players. Oh, Rojas isn't young, is he?
He's 28.
28. Yeah, he's in prime.
I don't know how. Okay, first of all, I don't know how Miami keeps getting all these guys that are like.
So he had an
PPs,
interesting
bro. Come
situation.
on.
He's still getting paid by his old club. So Miami got him on a cheap deal.
Yeah, it's a scam, bro. It's a scam. I think they're gonna come out.
Miami selling Herbalife on the side and doing some sketchy shit.
Yeah, come on, man. This is
just
Vice
South
City
Americans
after all.
wanting to play with Messi. That's really all it is.
That's basically you can't.
I mean, Chris, you would take a
can-
pay cut to go run a Messi's grocery store, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Exactly.
might as well.
Exactly.
I mean, it's one of those things like you know you're gonna retire whenever you're 30 something. You'll be like, I play with tell your grandchildren,
Yeah.
I play with Messi. Like it's just, and a lot of these younger guys like they grew up idolizing Messi. So it's like
Let's,
playing with your idol.
You're talking about Messi. He wasn't happy with that rule, right? He was injured.
Right?
About Rojas. He was down on the ground, actually complaining of an injury, but he still has to be out for 2-3 minutes after the fact. Which there's a free kick. Rojas scores a banger of a goal, like you mentioned, Joey, regarding the goal of the week. I mean, at the end of the day, man, you could see him kind of yelling at the camera, be like, saying kind of like the rule was stupid, and
I
Messi
hate
being
that.
Messi, Messi being Messi, things that need to change for sure.
No, that's lame. Just shut up and support your teammates. The rules are the rules.
Yeah,
shut up and dribble, bro.
What's it called? Okay, then going to Dallas game, Dago. I see your question. I'm gonna get there. I'm just gonna wait towards the end because it's not necessarily Dynamo really, but I got you, bro. I got you. Already started. So separated. Dallas game. One thing that I got from today's presser, which Chris will probably put it on the YouTube if he hasn't already, some tomorrow maybe. I was gonna clip it, but he mentions a little bit of how the Dallas game is saturated because that's supposedly the Dynamo's biggest rival, which we know it is one of the biggest rivals, and they don't play midweek like the Dynamo play midweek against Austin, and so he feels that at the end of the day, it should be this rivalry games, these big games that they kind of build up, should be more on a common ground per se. And we talked about this last time they played. It's lost a lot of his fizz. I don't know if it's just me. I know that Joey had the great thing about he didn't care. He doesn't care if he loses against Dallas. He doesn't care if they beat Dallas. He doesn't care. Like it's to get him as a game, and we get it. And that's why we say that in reality, this Texas Derby is more about the fans, the passion that the fans have for the team. So, Chris, you're here. You're the passionate fans. You always want to beat Dallas and maybe Austin, I suppose, but Dallas specifically. What do you think, man? You think, I mean, again, the scenario, you're already playing kind of a game already midweek, loses his fist, but just in general, what have you? Is it losing its thing? Is it losing its I guess rivalry, the intensity?
So there's a saying I grew up with in Spanish that it says, I'm gonna say it in Spanish and I'm gonna translate it, but it's los clásicos no se juegan, los clásicos se ganan, which translates he's like, what? Which translates to the derbies, you don't play derbies, you win derbies type thing. Like,
right.
You don't play them just to play.
Basically, you just have to win. You have to win.
Yeah,
it's a must.
It doesn't matter how you play. If you play good, bad, terrible, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters on derby days is at the end of the day, you come out with the 3 points. Yeah. And I feel that, and I lived that my whole life, and I don't think I'll ever change. And yeah, you gotta beat Dallas no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter where you play, that's why a lot of people like give me shit about Boca and River and Madrid and all that, because it doesn't matter if you play them in China. It doesn't matter if you play them, a friendly cup. It doesn't matter if you play them I don't know.
Preseason game.
If there's like a
No.
Houston Dynamo ping pong team against a Dallas ping, like you gotta play, and anything that you play,
Houston
Dallas,
Dynamo, Dallas alumni.
yeah, you gotta win. You gotta
had
win.
Onstad on
Period.
goal. You better win, man. You better
Yeah.
win.
And that, I mean, that's just where I'm gonna go with. Like, at the end of the day, results. Just in that specific game, the result at the end of the game is what gives you the bragging rights. Obviously here in the United States is a little bit different because
No,
it's between cities and
they
like
used to be a
further
capitan. I
away.
mean, they kind of got rid of that, so maybe that's why he's losing his fist. But you answered my question about the passionate fan,
Yeah.
but
that Capitan got overdone.
But you didn't answer my question about the game itself. Is it losing his fist? I mean, watching the game, I'll tell you what I see. I don't see the fire that it used to be.
Oh
You know,
no,
you
not
don't
at
see the
all.
guys kind of going at each other and bickering. Obviously,
No, because
a
the
lot of-
players don't really care. They don't feel.
Well,
They don't feel
yeah.
the intensity.
And now
Because
what
it
do you
doesn't
say?
matter. Because it's just a game.
Mhm.
Yeah, like Joey said a couple of I think episodes ago, like the one that has been here the longest is Dorsey, and he's been here what, like 2-3 years maybe,
4
and
years.
everybody else has been less than that. So like, yeah, as much as everybody wants to claim Houston, and we love the city and we love everything. It's one thing, just coming in to play for the city and representing the city for that moment, and then just kind of growing up,
Mhm.
and then that culture or being embedded. I feel like back in the day, like the 06, 07 teams, they were embedded in the community, so they got to meet people, they got to meet the fans. You see when like Bossy goes into the stands and like he celebrates with the fans, he plays the drums, or when I don't know, the guys go to the stands at the end of the matches, they celebrate with the people. Like that's a big thing because you're relating to them, to quote unquote the working class. It just, I don't know. I see football differently because to me it's all like it's people, it's community, it's kind of like a religion. It's all community. Whoa. It's just it's a bunch of stuff, right?
I was like, okay.
Yeah, somebody's going off.
I think
Yeah,
part of it also has to do with
But
if you guys watched Soccer Matters episode last year with Eric Sviatchenko, he talked about a big difference in MLS is like after games, a lot of the players are like friends with each other.
Mhm.
It's a big difference from the soccer culture in
Well,
Europe.
and I mean, we saw it about too. Like we would see like Mati Vera wearing like an Austin,
Yeah,
shirt,
it's
or
just a different
Like,
culture.
there's-
And
But
if the
give what
players
happened
don't
to
care,
Mati
why do
Vera
I
after
care?
he was wearing that. He was gone, bro. Like
yeah, but I don't think it was because of that.
I'm not saying it was, but I said, man, he's gonna be gone, and he was gone. So
Yeah, don't
let
do
me
that.
believe that,
Even-
okay? Let me
No,
believe
yeah.
that.
I wish I wish it was because of that, because he wouldn't do that in Argentina.
I mean,
'cause he
Ferreira was
knows
wearing
he
an
would get
LAFC shirt,
Yeah.
after they had just lost against
Yeah.
LAFC. So
Yeah, don't do that. Don't be stupid.
come on, guys, come on, do better. Okay, so did you guys give maybe a prediction for what you guys actually
For Dallas
think?
or
For
Austin?
Dallas? For Dallas, you did for Austin.
Dallas, dude, I can't give a good prediction for Dallas. I don't know how the Austin game goes.
I agree.
Yeah, what if Hector tears something and then that changes the complete
don't you
dynamic?
dare put that.
No, it's just an example, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got you.
So many things could happen.
Yeah, I guess we'll touch on that. So let's finish off with Dago's question, which I didn't even know you could put that up here. So now I learned. So
Hey,
see,
look at
I
that.
picked the wrong tweet thing to put up here. But he put this is definitely for Joey. Do we think Indy 11 will knock out Detroit? I'm sure Joe
Ooh.
has some thoughts. What do you think, Joey?
It's gonna be a good matchup. That's gonna be a very, very good matchup. I think.
Can they both lose?
Pasher's
both
there, right?
lose.
No, he's not.
They both lose.
Um,
That'd be dope.
not gonna say no. I think Detroit's just better than them.
Ooh.
Dang.
I mean, Indy is close to them in points, but like Detroit
it-
have played so many less games.
Is it?
Is it
This
in
is round of
Detroit?
16, right? No,
It's
no.
in Indy.
no.
It's in Indy.
Yeah, it's in
Is it
Indy.
Indy? And Indy
It's
beat
in
San
Indy.
Antonio. So I mean, San Antonio.
Ooh.
I don't know how good they were doing this.
I don't think they were
That's
doing
a
that
really
great,
tough
right?
question. Then, if I had to guess, I'd say Detroit win that game because I think they're just a better team.
I mean,
There you have it, kids.
it helps whenever you're playing. What's it called? I mean, you could just came from beating an MLS team. That just even
Helps
helps
you up.
your it gets a boost of morale, I suppose. But man, I would like for them to get knocked out just because
Oh,
of
I don't care.
all
I could care less.
the fans that were out there.
I
bickering.
do think that Indy do have more of a clinical goal scorer in their team, which could usually in knockout competitions is a lot of times makes a difference. So I think if you if you run into a game and like Augustine Williams for Indy just cooks like he does happen to do a lot of the times, like he did for Charleston last few years,
Yeah.
and Indy could batter them, but but Detroit just have a better team. I think Detroit win it.
Okay. All right. Hopefully not, but who cares right now? Well, when is it?
I could care less. Really,
when do
I
they
don't
play?
care.
When do they
May
play?
May 22nd.
Okay,
It's
The
either
same day as
22nd
those.
or 23rd.
so
That's
next
when those
week.
games
So
are.
next week
22nd.
they'll play.
Next Wednesday.
And what about New Mexico United? How are you feeling about
Against New York City FC too.
Yeah.
They're gonna smash them.
All right.
So
Are they playing at home too?
No,
They're
they're on
playing
the
at
road.
New York.
I
Ooh.
wish. And New York have that really good kid. What the hell's his name? Shore, the guy who's banging them in Next Pro right now. They have that kid. He's like 16 or 17 or whatever. But outside of that, I'm not really threatened by them. They're not that great in Next Pro. I mean, they've won a few games, but like they're not like top of the East or anything. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not threatened by them. A bunch of kids playing against a bunch of grown men, and we've seen Talon Maples dominate.
Yeah, we
Next
need
Pro,
we need somebody from former Dynamo to make it far. I mean, the Carolina core are out. So what Chris, what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say. I thought you were gonna say that you wanted somebody to go cover that game, and I was gonna say Matt, which is not his name.
Oh, that'd be sweet. Yeah.
He's over there in New York.
Yeah.
Maybe he's over there because
No,
school,
I
right?
think he's back. He's back.
back?
School's over. School's over.
I mean, on top of Talon Maples, who dominated MLS Next Pro, they also New Mexico also has Marco Micheletto, who's probably the best player to ever touch MLS Next Pro. So he's used to smacking on those teams.
There you go.
Michael Michelet Ultra.
And I know no one asked, but this hat that I'm wearing is probably one of my
Messi's
favorite member hats. And I wore it so much that it has like you may not be able to see it, but it has like either I don't know if it's blood, sweat, or tears up here.
A little bit of all.
A little bit of everything. But I don't know why I just grabbed the hat and I remember I was like thinking about it. I'm like, when did I get this hat? And this was like 2 years ago or 3 years ago now. And to this day, I have not picked up my purple giveaway from this year. So, yeah, and I don't know if I will at this point. But man, it has been. Let me see. Let's see one more comment. Oh, okay. It's Rushan. This year, member hat is a hit. I think he's being sarcastic.
I saw a 70-year-old dude wear the purple hat the other
Same last game. I told Dustin, "Hey, look, they're wearing the hat. The only people wearing a hat."
Was that the Dash one this year that was just awful?
They're both exactly the same.
Yeah.
One is purple,
the same.
and then one is blue. Like the Dash one is.
Because the Dash one was hideous. Yeah, Dustin showed it to us. Yeah. And you had to drive and go ahead and get it yourself, right?
That too. Yeah.
That sucks.
Now you can get at the stadium. Well, now you can get you just go and they'll give it to you now. But I keep forgetting to get it.
You should get it and then do a giveaway, like Rushan said.
Yeah, just give it away.
Because the Dash one's disgusting.
Yeah,
which sucks because the Dash gear and stuff is really nice right now.
Yes.
The warm up gear,
yeah,
is thick. The warm up gear.
I need to get my jersey soon for this year. I want to get the orange one. I love that kit.
I keep saying I need to get I have so much Dynamo related stuff, and I actually just bought another new shirt, which this is just a plain shirt because you guys were making fun of me that I didn't wear a Dynamo.
Yeah, what the hell, dude?
Yeah, but I ended up buying one that's from Fanatics. It just says Forever Orange, which something they don't even say anymore. So I'm surprised they even had that Forever Orange with the with the new logo.
I absolutely love that Dash jersey. It's so nice.
But yeah, I've been saying the Dash jersey, and also I think it was a training top that was just damn. And
yeah, I don't think they sell those.
I don't think so. I don't think they do. And if they do,
somebody hook us up, bro.
Yeah, someone hook us up with the training kits.
Shoot, man.
Just 3 shirts. I mean, what's 3 shirts?
Just someone leave it outside of the locker room.
We'll come pick it up after training.
It's like, what happened, man? Some of the jerseys disappeared. Christian, was that you? No, they're gone.
I don't know why those aren't for sale. They're so nice.
I'm telling you, they're nice, right?
No,
Those training tops are really, really nice, man.
Yeah,
Same thing with like,
they
you
had
know,
the
another
pre-match
shirt.
jerseys, but not the training kits. The
I would
pre-match
love-
jerseys are
I would love a Houston Dynamo 2 jersey. Like
Yeah.
just to have it. I mean, we obviously cover all this team, so it'd be nice to just have something. Yeah, definitely. Chris, if someone deserves a Houston Dynamo 2 jersey, it has to be
Chris. It's right. Has anyone here ordered the new Dash jersey?
No.
Like any
Probably
listeners either?
I think
because
I was gonna say money.
I know the
probably.
last bunch of ones, like sizing wise, they ran pretty tight.
Yeah,
So
I think
it's the same.
Money did get the new one, and I think he said that it was better. Like it
was
fit
better.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
If
I don't know.
remember
I don't know if I want to
correctly.
get it in a medium or large. Because the last one I got in a large, and even that one, like
It
it's
was like a tight squeeze.
it fits like a normal medium shirt does on me.
Okay, yeah, it was a training top. That orange training top, my God, it looks pretty. It's like the paint looks like paints. It's nice. It's nice. It's very nice. Rushan said, "I haven't quality super doubtful. It's not Adidas." Yeah, I mean there is a big difference between Adidas and Nike. I agree with that.
Yeah, the Dash jerseys last year were pretty poor quality. I thought, and yeah, they just ran super tight, and they just kind of didn't feel great on your body.
All right, let's end the show with this, and I'll do the connection here. Obviously, check out Bayou City Soccer on all our social medias, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Give it a like, give it a follow. It goes a long way. Retweet, man. We've seen this thing called Bayou City Soccer continue to explode. We got a lot of support. Thank you to you guys for that. Again, if you are, you feel it deep in your heart to financially give to us to continue to make this product better, and do so, feel freely. Chris, don't put guns in people's heads, all right, for this, okay? We're just saying this. It's like, what? But no, let's end it with Dago. Dago says, what are y'all's top 5 Dynamo jerseys? Okay, so Tequila Sunrise has to be there. Like, it has to be there.
Most def.
I also like the one before the Tequila Sunrise, the one that was kind of like a B shape. It kind of reminded me of the Batman. You remember what was
Tequila Sunrise? What is that?
It's
the one with the fit. Like it went from like an orange to like a red to like an orange. It had like a gradient.
2018.
The black one. The first black one? Is that the first black one?
No, it's the second one.
The second black one.
The second black one. Oh, yeah. I really like that. I think the first black one is my favorite.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Those two have to be there.
The first black one's a classic. I wish the one I had wasn't a double XL. It didn't have Kubo Torres on the back of it.
Dang, what do you wear now? Bro. What do you wear now?
Medium.
Oh, I was like, I have a large. I would trade you. I'd trade you. If you
want to large. We can still do that. That might work. Is it authentic?
Yeah, bro.
The Authentics run a little tight too.
Come on. I'm telling you, I'm a fan.
Authentic from China, but
no, it's real. It's real. I got you. And actually, yeah, I was like, yeah, it's a large, so I can trade you if you want it.
Dude, I'm down. Let's do it.
If it's an XL. And then Rushan said the black one, which there's a couple black ones. He has a purple one up there, the Sunrise Tequila.
The Bayou City one is one of my favorites.
The Bayou City, yeah, that one's nice too. I like the 2017, both of them, which is the one that you're talking about, the first black shirt, and then the home jersey was dope. Like how it was orange and then it had like really thin like blue lines. I don't know if you guys remember that one or not.
Yeah, I thought the 2019 home one was really good too. The kind of was like the tiger stripes almost, like with the different accents.
Oh yeah, that one's nice.
I really did the purple one. I really like the purple one.
I love the
jersey
one
they've ever released that I just absolutely hated was the 2020 black ones. Those are so ugly.
The 2020 black one.
They're awful.
Hold on, we gotta do some googling.
Let me see. No, you got me. Oh yeah.
That is the most
Yeah,
hideous jersey they've ever had. It's terrible.
Like looking back, it did that. It grew on me, but yeah, once you put them in like a spectrum with all of them. No. Well, yeah, it has the 3 stripes, and then it has like the radio looking thing, sound waves.
The 2012 home one was an absolute classic as well.
Yeah, that one.
You can see it.
No, it popped up.
Okay.
It popped up.
Look, I absolutely love the 2012 home one.
Yeah. And then Dago puts, who asked the question, said Tequila Sunrise first, the Bayou second, El Sol, which that's the one they're wearing right now, the home
one. Yeah, I like that one.
That was nice too. And then 4, he has a 2006 home, and then 5, 2016 black, which that's the one we're talking about. The 20.
How do you feel about that reddish looking one?
Oh, the third one from 2012.
2013.
That was ugly. 2012.
That
was pretty ugly. I don't know.
The pinstripe looking. Yeah.
The 2014 ones were really boring too. I remember. Was the 2015 home the one that like faded into the white at the bottom?
Yes.
That one was pretty sweet. I like that one.
I like that one, bro.
Then there was like the one that was like that was like the Dallas ones, but in orange. The hoop ones. Those were kind of
Yeah, there was the one that faded. There was the one that had like I guess it was supposed to be I guess it's 2012 because it kind of matched the stadium, the outside of the stadium with like a mesh looking thing.
Yeah.
And
the goalkeeper kits from what year was it? I want to say it's like 2018 or 2019. Those like really cool blue ones. Those were awesome. What year is that? I'm looking it up.
Yeah. So I you know
Joe
what?
Willis for him.
I had been thinking of doing like a little kit, like I guess for trivia. Yeah, well, for trivia, just doing like not a trivia, but like doing a poll, because you know how sometimes I do like a trivia on Instagram. I was thinking of doing like basically which shirt you prefer between this and this type of thing.
Like a whole bracket, bro.
Yeah.
March Madness.
I don't know.
Oh, here it is. It's the 2019 goalkeeper jersey for the Dynamo.
2019.
Let's look it up.
Was it? I was gonna say, was it also green? Like
it was blue.
Oh, I see it. I see Will is wearing it.
Yeah, that one was nice.
Because they had the tiger stripes too.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we have come to the end of the show. Man, this shows keep getting longer and longer because I feel like they're really good, and we continue to have like consistent views of over 100 and something people joining. So, man, thank you guys so much for joining us. I guess I would just finish it with make sure to like and review, and I guess subscribe to the podcast feed. I know that you guys, a lot of them already are watching it here live and may not go back to it. But if you are listening in the podcast feed, or if you're not, actually, if you're on YouTube and you only listen on YouTube, go to freaking whatever podcast you do listen to. Just subscribe to it, man. It will go a long way. Give it a review. I mentioned this before. If you think Chris is ugly, if you think Joey's annoying, if you think I'm stupid, put it out there. We're good. Jeez. It doesn't hurt our feelings. And if you think we're great, Chris may cry in the shower after this.
I'm in my feelings about it, guys.
But no, if you guys think you're great, man, give us a 5-star review. Tell us what we're doing right. Tell us what would you like, what you would like for us to do differently. So that's for you, Rushan, Dago, Nemo, Obrasis, everybody that's I'm trying to go through. There's a bunch. Darren, Edson, Edgar, Paulina, David, everybody. If get your mamas to listen to the show too. Whatever you gotta do, man.
Rafael.
Rafael. It goes a long way, man. It goes a long way. And just with that, don't forget to hold it down and keep it forever orange, boys. Peace.
Sir. Good night.